Alright, welcome back to the channel. This is going to be video 4.5. I realized that I had skipped some steps in the last video when I went straight to creating tool paths for this cabinet. I did that without showing you guys how to create your doors and without showing you how to modify the cabinet and to actually build out your cabinet and to bring more cabinets into this. Also, I said in the beginning of this series that we would be able to do every cabinet in your kitchen with this one file. And I think you could do it, but it took me longer to go through and to edit all of the parameters that needed to be edited and then to fix whatever little issues might come up to turn this file into an upper cabinet. I think it could be done. I think maybe I didn't take the proper approach to do that. I had trouble when I deleted or when I adjusted the toe kick parameters to 0 because the upper cabinet doesn't have toe kick. When I adjusted it to 0, it threw the shelves and some others. It just kind of made it all wonky and it didn't work very good. And I think it's because of this board here. It didn't know what to do with that or where to go with it, so I just tried removing it. And it just got weird, and it took me longer to change the parameters and to figure all that out than it did to just make a new file for your upper cabinet. So I'm revising what I said a little bit. You can make all of your lower cabinets from this one file, and then you'll do a second file for your upper cabinets, but the process is the same. You know, the upper cabinets are nothing but your carcass and a couple of shelves. No drawers, no center divider, no toe kick. The only difference for your upper cabinets is that instead of just these two spanner boards, it'll just be a full top. But that's the only difference. You'll still have the back, you'll still need these nailers here to nail into the wall, or just screw into the wall. So if you go back and you follow the video to create your upper cabinets, you can follow it and just skip through the drawer stuff and the toe kick stuff and just build out your carcass that way. But still use the parameters and all that to get your to adjust the files as you need them. But I'll show you how to adjust the files to create different cabinets, and we'll go from there. All right. So what we're going to do here is create the drawer fronts and the doors. So the first thing we got to do is create a new parameter, and that parameter is going to be named front gap, and that's going to represent the gaps between the doors and the gaps between the drawer fronts and the doors and just the gaps all the way around. Should all be the same. So I'm going to start with a 1/16 of an inch. Alright, so we're going to create a sketch and right on the front of the cabinet. And now in this sketch, we need some information that we don't yet have. Well, we have the information, we just got to move it. So go to Project Include and go to Project. And we want this, pretty much the carcass is what we want. All the way around. And hit OK, and now you see it went purple, so we have that information now in our sketch. So we're going to create a box for our drawer front, and we'll dimension this box out. Oh no, not yet. We need some reference points yet. So what we need to know where center is here. And we need to know, we need a horizontal line here in the center of this board. So we're going to draw a line and zoom in here, and if you hover down over center, you see that triangle pops up? That tells you you're over center. Right there. And we're going to, this line represents the center where the doors meet, where the drawer fronts and the doors meet. So if you right click on that line, we're going to turn it into a construction line. That means it's not going to show up anywhere else. It just helps us design here. And we need to do the same thing here, so we'll find center, and we'll come all the way down to this line. And if you notice, you can see the degrees there. We want a plumb line. We don't want it to be off. So once you find 90, it also shows center there of the cabinet. Click on that and turn it to a construction line. All right, so now you can kind of see our 4 quadrants here that are going to be the doors and the drawer fronts. So we'll dimension this out. D for dimension, come over and find that construction line. And this is going to be front gap, but it's going to be front gap divided by 2. And the reason for that is where there's going to be another one over here with front gap divided by 2, and that will give us a 1/16 of an inch gap right down the middle. So we'll dimension it to the top of the cabinet. And that'll be a 1/16 of an inch. And now my countertops are going to be, I think, stone or some kind of manufactured stone, so there'll be no lip at the front of the cabinets. A lot of laminate countertops will have some kind of lip that'll drop down. You know, it comes over the front of the cabinet and drops down a little bit. So make sure you're aware of that if you create your cabinets first and you don't have any room for that lip. You know, you might have to move this drawer front down a bit. Here. And this is front gap divided by 2 again, because there's going to be a cabinet on the left side of it. And this here is going to be front gap, again divided by 2. Alright, so there's our drawer front. And we could mirror it, or we could just draw another one. So let's just draw another one, because it's not that difficult. Draw it out, dimension it. What was that? Come on, you. There we go. I don't know what I was going too fast maybe. Alright, there we go. So that's our 2 drawer fronts, and if you zoom in, you see we got a nice little gap between the 2. So now we can do our doors. So we'll just go ahead and draw a couple boxes right away and dimension these out. Oh my goodness. I'm hitting something. I zoomed way in there because I wanted to make sure I got my construction line and not the bottom of the drawer front. Same as this. And this is not divided by 2 because it's the bottom. There's nothing underneath it. Come on, man, what are you doing? I'm going too fast, that's the problem. I'm hitting buttons. And last one. Alright, there we go. There's our door fronts and our bottoms. So now what we can do is we can turn some stuff off here. Yeah, we'll just pretty much turn everything off. Alright. What? I just hit Control Z for some reason. I'm sorry, guys. Struggling. Alright, so now we want to extrude these out. So we'll start selecting, and you gotta go around, and because we have this geometry we got from the cabinet, it doesn't assume to know what you want. So you gotta hold down Shift and go around and click on what you want to extrude. There. And we'll extrude that, and this is going to be material. What did I name that? Front? MDF front is what I named it. And it's going to be a new body. I'll make it a new component. And hit OK. Alright, so there's our one of our drawer fronts, but we want to do more. So we'll get that sketch visible. Sketch 7, now it's visible, and we will continue to extrude out items here. So this is MDF front, new component, okay. I think my problem is I'm doing it at the kitchen table, and the mouse is not working well on the wood surface as opposed to my desk and mouse pad. MDF front, new body, new component, excuse me, okay, last one. Just struggling tonight, guys. Alright, so there they are. Let me turn that sketch off. You can see we got nice even gaps all the way around. It's not a big enough gap that you're ever going to be able to see into the cabinet. You know, it's 3/4 inch thick. So now what we can do is we can come up with some kind of style. My drawer fronts here turned up to only be 5 and whatever that is, tall. I'm having a brain fart. So I'm not going to do any kind of like rail and style on these. These are just going to be blank, flat. But I will do something here. So I think what we're going to do is just a very clean, basic frame and panel. So we're going to create a sketch right there, and we need to draw a couple squares. Excuse me. And now we're just going to dimension these against the door. And we're going to create a parameter for this. It's going to be called door frame. and we're going to say 2 inches. So our frame, you know, the rails and stiles will be 2 inches thick, and that'll be adjustable. So we'll dimension that and say that is the door frame. And go all the way around. Make sure you get your door. Why can't I get to that? It's making me choose the line on the door first. I don't know why. I'm no fusion expert. Alright, so there we go. That's our frame and panel. So now we can finish that sketch and we can just sink these in. So I like to use the extrude key, and we're going to go negative. So the MDF comes at 18 millimeters thick, so close enough to 3/4. You could set them in as far as you want, and you could make a parameter for this. That'd be a good idea. So why don't we do that? We're going to call this door panel, and we'll just start with 3/8 of an inch and see what that looks like. It's basically half. So make sure it's going in the way you want it, and we'll go negative door panel, and turn the sketch back on and do the same thing for the other door. And so there you go, there's your doors, frame and panel. I think that's too deep. I think that's too deep. We're gonna go 1/4 inch. Yeah. Probably can't really tell a difference, but I think that's better. All right. So there it is. With doors. We'll name the doors here. Oh, that should be named shelf. And this will be drawer front left. Right, door left, and door right. Okay, so make sure you save it. So for the purposes of this series, this is our finished cabinet, ready to cut. So what I've done is I've saved it. It's saved as 36-inch base. Now what I can do is go to File, Save As, and we'll call it, you know, what it could be something different. It can be, you know, let's say you needed a 37-inch cabinet, because you don't want to put a filler, but you need a little extra room. So 37-inch base. Hit save. Alright, so now we're in the 37-inch base. So what we can do is go to parameters, cabinet width will be 37, and hit OK. So now we have a 37-inch cabinet. So we'll save it. And we will bring in this. All I did was went into my file, my project file, and when I hit save as, obviously it makes a new project, a new file. So we have the 37-inch base, and here's our original 36. You just click it and drag it and bring it all in and move it over, and then hit OK. So there you go. Now you have a 37-inch and a 36-inch. Now, one thing you'll have to do, like if you want if we saved one of these as an 18-inch cabinet, I'll open this up. If I wanted this to be an 18-inch cabinet, you will have to go in and delete some drawers. So you don't want these ridiculous tiny drawers, and you also don't want these ridiculous tiny doors. You'll have to remove those, and that's easy. You just go over here, left click it, and hit remove, and then you would build your new door. And obviously you can't, this program's not magic. There is some work you have to do. Same thing with the drawers and the drawer fronts. Let's see, we'll just remove all these. So you'll have to go through, and you don't need the center divider. Not that mark. What are you doing here? Remove. So you gotta go through and you gotta remove these, because you, like I said, you don't want, unless you want 9-inch drawers. And so now there you go. There's your cabinet, your 18-inch cabinet, and you would just have to redo your drawer, which is not the end of the world. If for each cabinet you gotta do, you just gotta design a drawer instead of doing this all this work all over again. I think that's pretty good. So let's save this file, save as, and we'll call it our 18-inch. All right. Now you can go back in to your master here, and you can bring in your 18-inch. All right. And so there you go. So now we're starting to build out our cabinets, and you can go through the work and join them all up to kind of create, something for if you're doing this for a client or something, and you can apply appearances and wood grain to it, but I'm not going to do any of that. This is just to show you how to change the parameters. So I've demonstrated here that you can create one single cabinet and you can get multiple cabinets out with minimal work. So now if we wanted to cut all these out, I recommend this program. I know I showed it to you in video number 4, but I paid for it. It's like $30 and it's well worth it. Mapboards Pro. It's available in the Fusion or the Autodesk App Store, I guess. and it shows you the different size material that you have here. So let's just do let's just cut the 1/2 inch material first, so basically just the drawers first. Select that, and then you can go to options, and you can tell it how you want it to nest your product, your parts. You know, how big is your router bit going to be? You would put that in here so you get the correct number or the correct amount of space between them. So I'm just going to go a little bit bigger. Okay, and hit OK. And it does its thinking. So it's going pretty fast. I would ordinarily, I think, just speed the video up so you don't have to sit through it, but it's going pretty quick. All right, there it is. So there's all your 1/2 inch pieces. All of them have the gap that I decided what I wanted. It nests everything for me, so you can see this is the center drawer divider, and you can see this is why it's a good idea to name. I don't have everything named, but you can see here's the drawer, the right drawer, right panel, and so this would be all the 1/2 inch material in your cabinet. So for these 3 cabinets, would only take 1 and a little bit. You know, I don't have the drawers designed for the 18-inch one, but that's how you would do it. And then you can take this, and in Mapboards Pro, in the options, you could tell it to output a DXF or an SVG if you have your own software that you want to use to create your toolpaths. I use something different. I don't use Fusion 360 to create my toolpaths, so I would just export this as a DXF and then load it into my other software that I prefer, but you could also, of course, do it here too. So there you go. That is how to create your doors and your drawer fronts, and how to save them, alter them, and then bring them into your master file. So what I would do here is save this as the base cabinet, base master, something you'll know what it means, and hit save. And that's something now I can always go back to it. Now, if you're working on your kitchen and you have your base master, this might be the best piece of info in this whole long video, and you open up a different cabinet and you go in here and you change something. So let's say you measured your plywood and it came out to be, let's see, we're doing half as the example. Let's say it came out to be what it's probably going to be, something like that, and hit OK. And you save it. Now if you go back into your master, parameters are not global. It's unfortunate, but they're not global. So here you can see one component is out of date. Update the reference from the browser to get, so it's warning you that something has changed that's not reflected here. So, you know, here is where you change things in the individual cabinet, because parameters are not global. They're only for this file. And then here's where you're going to nest and cut everything. It warns you. So you can go up here and click on this exclamation mark, and it will update this cabinet. It doesn't update them all. So you would have to go, once you measure your material, you need to open each individual cabinet and input the material thickness and your drawer slide thickness, all of that. You need to put that into every single file, and then when you bring them all here, it'll like I showed you, it'll bring the latest information, and then you can nest and cut. So if we go back into map boards, oh, I got an error. So I believe I'm getting an error because it's different 1/2-inch boards. So anyway, something to keep in mind. If you have any questions, post them in the comments. If I missed something, post them in the comments. If you like the video, God bless you, and give me a thumbs up. And if you want to see more Fusion 360 stuff and you want to see more CNC stuff, make sure you subscribe. I've got a couple different CNC routers. I've got a CNC plasma table. I've got a couple of 3D printers and a laser. And so I would like to start doing videos on all of those. So if you're interested in basically any CNC at all, I got you covered, except for lathes or vertical machining centers. I don't have those. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it helped somebody. And thanks for watching.